Tell us when the group goes live. Guys, we're going to rock and roll here in a matter of moments. I'll confirm Twitter and LinkedIn. Oh, Twitter is live. I will confirm YouTube and LinkedIn. Judah, you confirm the group. Keith Smith's in the house, guys. Real Talk with Keith Smith on a Friday. Group is live. Fantastic. Thank you, Judah. A lot of market data today. Judah, you got a lot of data points he's sent over, huh? Oh, no visuals?
No, he hasn't sent anything. I'll double check. But
Okay. No, I think you're probably right. You would have seen it. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. Put them in the feed. We'll relay them live on air on the Friday edition of Real Talk with Keith Smith. We'll talk market conditions 2024 versus 2025 as it applies to housing. Keith has got a ton of data for us, and data is a good thing. It gives us a barometer or a benchmark to analyze what is going on. Give us the heads up, Judah, when LinkedIn is live. Twitter is live. Group is live. Live on my personal Facebook page. The network is booming, folks, and it's booming because of fantastic people like Keith Smith.
Oh, stop.
Who held down the fort last week. I thought you guys did a good job.
You know, I didn't rewatch it. Did we do okay?
I watched it. You did a great job. I watched the first, I'd say 2/3.
Yeah, but it's kind of like falling off of a horse for me, because when you've got the three folks that were sitting at the table with me and Judah keeping me straight, I just needed to keep me on the rails, Keith on the rails, and I think I did an okay job.
You did a great job.
But I did miss you, very much so.
We missed you as well. Like and share the show. Like and share the show. Judah, do you have a 3-shot set up?
yep.
You want to slide one of those banners behind you, just in case you're on the shot? Something we talked about yesterday.
Hey, come on, man. He's got the microphone.
He's got the microphone. We're going to celebrate. He's got the mic.
Step in the right direction.
You know, persistence. Commenters are coming already. They're excited for Real Talk to start. Thank you, Keith. And Judah, probably the best thing, Bill McChesney, hello. Best thing to do is probably to get the show rocking and rolling, and then you can set up the banner, because we'll get a 2-shot going. And count us in when you're ready.
You look awfully golden.
Oh, thank you. I've been in the sun a lot.
Looks good.
Yeah.
So how was it?
It was fantastic. It was great.
Right on the set.
Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys, being on vacation, but it's truly my pleasure to sit back in this seat with my good friend Keith Smith, the namesake of Real Talk with Keith Smith, and to spotlight or analyze the trends in Central Virginia and its housing market. Housing is obviously important for everyone, and goodness gracious, do we live in a market that is dynamic and nuanced. On today's edition of Real Talk with Keith Smith, we have data galore. We're going to analyze 2024 and 2025, compare and contrast what's happening in housing in Central Virginia, and we're going to do it with Keith Smith, who's been in real estate since 1987. His firm is Yes Realty Partners. Keith and his wonderful wife, Yona Smith, the co-founders of Yes Realty Partners, I have seen firsthand how this firm has helped buyers and sellers get across the finish line we call real estate. Literally, Keith and Yona Smith helped my family sell our last house and buy our current house.
And you're still talking to us.
They are trusted, trusted people. Judah Wickhauer behind the camera, 2-shot, the star of our show, Keith Smith, on a glorious and gorgeous Friday morning in downtown Charlottesville. Good morning, my friend.
Morning, brother. Good to see you back. Good to be across the table from you. I heartfeltly miss doing this, but I kind of know what it's like when, now I get it. I know what it's like when Keith goes away, maybe for a few weeks or a month, and it's the comfort, and I'm just not, this is from the heart. The comfort and the chemistry is just really, really cool. I'm a little slow this morning. I'm going to let some coffee kick in. I had a bad meds morning this morning, but we are here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Bushy-tailed. So I've of course didn't send Judah the slides in enough time, so I just sent them quickly. But I wanted to kind of kick the show off a little bit and talk about, what's been tracking between actives and pending in the car footprint. So I was asked a couple of questions during the week. How are we looking? Are we starting to turn the corner and starting to see some more active show-ups? In other words, more listings show up. And it's interesting. I track the week over week every 7 days, and actives versus pending, and it's been like a roller coaster, right? Like one day there's 100 listings and 60 pendings, and then 2 days later it inverts, right? It's 60 listings, so it's just very. I would call it a reality market, right? The market is very real. You've got to have your pricing right. You've got to jump on the market jump on the right opportunity when it presents you. But what I was just taking a quick look at, I know, Judah, did you get an opportunity to upload them yet?
Yeah, give me
Okay.
5 seconds.
So Judah the rock star is doing something on the fly at the last minute because Smith forgot to send it to him. Love you, Judah. So what you're going to take a look at when he gets slide 1 going up here, we are up 11.4% in listings of year over year, 24 versus 25. But I found it interesting, January we were only, thank you, brother. January we were up 8.5%, 24 versus 25. February was flat. The 2 big months, and we were talking about this, was March and April. We had a 23% gain and a 22% gain. We're now kind of leveling off in June, because that's as far as my Realtor.com data will go for me, because that's the source I'm using, because CAR can't give me actives, is 4.3. Pendings are down 9%. So year over year, we're up 11%, and we're down about 10% on actual pending. These are homes that are going under contract. I don't know exactly what that means. I just think, you're starting to see a little bit more positive role on the activity end of it. And, I think we're still dealing with sellers having a little bit of unrealistic expectation on value.
We were up on over the vacation. I love real estate just like you. I'm always looking at stuff, checking things out on Long Island at the beach, and it was the same trend. It was a boatload of listings with DOMs that were long in the tooth, and agents saying, look, these aren't the COVID years. If you're accustomed, what you had your neighbor sell their house for 18 months ago, even 12 months ago, it's a completely different market now. And it's the seller that's often the last to adjust to the market. The buyer's the first to adjust to the market and very in tune with what's happening.
And we've been talking about that for years, going on. We're in our 7th year. But why I'm calling this a reality market, sellers, you've got to price your home right. Buyers, when you hit the right one, you gotta act, right? You can't delay, because somebody else is going to come in and do that. And from an agent's perspective, a real estate professional perspective, you got to know your stuff, right? And I've said this more than once on the show. When I get constantly asked, why do I do this? I said, well, I get to sit across from Jerry Miller.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right.
I feel the same.
I said, well, what other reason could there possibly be? But I do it because it makes me better at what I do. And data and understanding the micro markets is super important, and it's how one reads it and interprets it. And then more importantly, how do you convey that to somebody so that they can comprehend it?
How are your colleagues holding up?
Yes, Realty Partners?
No, the industry in general. This is a challenging market for the real estate professionals, and not just realtors, the whole supply chain.
Yeah.
I'm talking the mortgage chain. I'm talking inspectors, the whole chain. How are folks holding up? Because you talk to everybody.
Yeah. So, boy, that's one I'm going to have to navigate. But it is real talk, so I've got to be real, right? the people, oh, wow, this is how this works.
Yeah.
The people that take the job as a profession, that doesn't mean that they're not part-time or dual career, but take the job, what we do as a profession, will do well. The people who do not will not do well. It's that simple. So this is when I've said it, we started this conversation a year plus ago, right? This is when the pros show up, the people that are pros, that get it, that know how to go through the data, that know how to take care of their client, that knows how to actually make a phone call, right, to a client or to a prospect or to whatever, and go through the education process of educating buyers and sellers will do well. The ones that maybe don't have that skill set probably won't. And that's the same in your business and any business. The people that are all in this industry get it. I was on a Zoom call yesterday, and I have to leave the CEOs out, but there were 4 major CEOs in our industry I was on a call with, because I'm doing a couple of panels in September at the Reese Media CEO event, and these are, big name Fortune 500 real estate companies, and I found it really interesting because they're starting now to have a lot of the conversations you and I have been having about housing affordability, about education, about taking the front position in our real estate industry, instead of relying on third parties. And I'll let you fill in the gaps on who I'm talking about on the third parties.
Have you guys talked about the shenanigans or the catastrophe that is zoning in Charlottesville City? Has that come up?
No, most of the real estate agents, the professionals that I talk to on this, they're as confused as everybody else. I think they're as confused as the city is confused, right? 1 minute you can submit, 1 minute you can't submit, and what does the market don't like? Uncertainty. There's enough uncertainty in the market, period. Is interest rates going up? Is interest rates going down? Yada, yada, yada. I think in retrospect, in Monday morning quarterbacking is always an easy thing to do, right? Or Friday morning quarterbacking is always an easy thing to do. I think in retrospect, they probably should have piecemealed this thing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They did one of the most radical zoning ordinances the country's ever seen.
Well,
and they try to shove it down everyone's throats.
Well, there's that, and they just decided to do it in one fell swoop.
And they did it without having legitimate counsel in City Hall that could help shepherd the new zoning ordinance through.
Yeah, well.
And now we're left with folks saying, to heck with doing development in the city.
But that
I mean, how much money is this going to cost people that were, so far into the project that they did under goodness gracious.
There's lawsuits, I'm sure that,
Yeah.
we're not in the room, right? And they're very close-lipped about it, as they should be. But look, the preempt to that conversation, that comment, whatever I just said means, there wasn't much happening, period. Right, so there wasn't much new development happening even before this. How do you not show up for a court hearing thing happened, right? Which just blows my mind as a lawyer. Just can't show up or misses a date.
Missed a deadline.
Yeah. Well, he needed to be at court.
A filing deadline was missed. Yeah,
Deadline,
right.
Yeah. So the reality of it is, prior to that, there was nothing produced, very minimal produced, because of what I've been talking about forever. It's the red tape, as I hold a red pen, red tape into green tape. But at the end of the day, this is just going to cause more confusion. The development community, what does builders and developers
set rules that they can build a business model around?
That's what they want.
Yeah, and they don't have that.
And they take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's what's going to happen. You're going, and it's what happening. Fulvana is about ready to cap out. Green's going to, again, this is just repetitive stuff. We've been talking about this for, at least I have, forever. Just like my daughters say, Dad, you got to get some better dad jokes. Greene County is rocking and rolling, and that's what's going to happen. These developers and builders are just not going to come to the city. They're going to say, thank you very much. Let us know when you get your trash together, and we might consider coming back.
Bob Shada, hello. James Watson, hello. Kid Ashley, hello. Georgia Gilmer, hello. Thank you for watching the program. Viewers and listeners, hello. Barbara Bosick, hello. Fantastic agent. Thank you for watching the show. Michael Guthrie, thank you for watching the program. Carol Thorpe, thank you for watching the program. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. Tom Powell, welcome to the broadcast. Look, I'm going to cut to the chase. Data was released within the last 36 hours, and this is a national metric, that home builders are slashing prices at aggressive rates right now.
Except for here.
This is a different market. That's where I want to go to.
Yeah.
Home builders nationally slashing prices aggressively.
Yeah.
It's a different market here.
100%. It could not have been, it cannot be more of a 180. And I'll tell you a story about that when you finish.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're blessed. We, meaning the Piedmont Community Land Trust, I was able to partner with Greenwood and a couple other builders, and we got 8 to 12 new construction units coming up, and we're selling them, and it's working out great. I also have market clients, and I'll leave builders out, and I'll leave locations out because just to protect the innocent. I've got a ready, willing, and able cash buyer for a new construction project in our footprint that I couldn't get the builder to give me a price or release the lot. And the reason is they were working on adjusting their prices up. And that's, how it kind of works, right? Activity breeds activity as it kind of goes up. So we started the conversation 3 weeks ago. Just got the word this morning they're releasing the group of lots where we're interested in, and the price has gone up. And so, yes, nationally, you're seeing a little bit of a slowdown, and I read the same article. Locally, I don't think I see that happening. Now, you might see some incentives happening, right? $10,000 bonuses, incentives to the buyer, closing costs, maybe some very aggressive interest rates, because some of these larger builders also own the mortgage companies, right? So you can go ahead and start seeing that. So, to your point, national, yes, and that's why I think what we do here is so important, right? Because the national noise could possibly scare the heck out of people, but we're very much so insulated from the national trends. But that doesn't mean that we have to dig in. We shouldn't be digging in each individual neighborhood, each individual location.
What are your thoughts, viewers and listeners? Put them in the feed. I'll relay them live on air. I ask you this question every single week. Check your Facebook Messenger there at JDubs. How do you characterize today's market, Keith Smith? Sleepy?
No. Reality. This is a reality market. Welcome to the real estate market. This is normal, in my opinion. Been doing.
You don't characterize this as sleepy, vulnerable?
No, not at all. It's not. If you are priced right, in the right location, priced right, features or condition, your house will sell. The problem is you've got to price it right. It is a price-sensitive market. That doesn't mean prices are going down. It just means you need to price it right. And if you price it wrong and you get, the markets now, if you're over a certain period of time, depending on the location, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever the max, whatever the specifics are for that location, you're dead. You're done. It's over. You sell your house for less. So if you can price it right and bring in a trusted advisor And my advice usually is, okay, this is what our market analysis is saying. We're going to just go a skosh below it. Half a percentage point, something
Are we
like
seeing
that.
multiple offer scenarios still happening?
100%.
We're still seeing multiple offer scenarios.
That's the reason I was pushing so hard on this new construction. I had a multiple offer new construction, and I had a buyer that we have to sell the house because of health conditions, and they needed a very specific product. They needed a single level, primary on the main level, as close to 0 steps as possible in it. And we had multiple offers in it, and we just happened, because I parked my proverbial butt at the sales office and didn't move until I had a contract. But it's multiple offers on new construction. So again, right location, right price, right features, right condition. You're starting to see multiple offers. Are you seeing multiple offers? Nah, maybe not. 1 or 2 or something like that. But multiple offers are multiple offers.
This comment comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, questions for Keith Smith, put them in the feed. I'll relay them live on air. This comment's a good one. Which market's still performing the best in Central Virginia?
So we've got to be a little bit more specific about that, right? So what price point are we looking for, right? I would say overall, if you take a look at the numbers, Greene County is performing pretty much off the charts. That's mostly new construction that's impacting that. I can tell you what's not performing well as far as volume goes is the city of Charlottesville, right? Albemarle County's still performing well, right? Again, if it's in the right location, right features, right conditions. I don't have it with me, but I did an analysis on, what happens between 0 and 14 days, right? So if homes sell between 0 to 14 days in Albemarle County, are they selling for more than list, or are they selling for less than list? And the answer is they're selling for more, right? Homes that are longer than 14 days in Albemarle County are selling for less. So that is, you've got to get the price right. It's that simple. And if you're thinking, my next door neighbor 24 months, 12 months ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, put a house on the market X and sold for $50,000 more, I want to put it on the market for $50,000 over that $50,000. If you've got a really good real estate agent talking to you, they're going to say, thank you very much, get somebody else. Now, if you want to price it right to what the market is right now, then the home will move, assuming it's got the right features.
Homes that are not selling now.
Not primary on the main level, 60-something% is the primary on the main level. So if you've got a primary on the main level, right, that makes a difference. It makes a huge difference because, let's face it, who's the buyer?
Yep.
Keith, Yona, the boomer.
Yep.
On it. Young families also like it too because the kids are all on the same level. It's a pretty cool concept. And you got to have, mostly a garage. But again, it depends on the location on it. But, it's all about, it's literally down to block to block and house to house. One house across the street can perform completely different than the one on the other side. On one side, it's in great condition, it's in the same location, the primary's on the main level, it's a brand new roof, the HVAC is brand new, and it's X dollars. The one across the street doesn't have the primary on the main level, needs a new roof, needs a new HVAC system, right? Has Quest in it, the house across the street changed the plumbing, piping. That house is either going to sell substantially below what the one across the street is selling or not sell at all because the buyer does not want to go through this. It is not in the unicorn years where the buyer would buy anything and, by the way, I got 2% mortgage, it doesn't matter, it's free money.
People are getting off the 2% mortgages.
We've talked about this. Eventually, it's going to cycle itself out, and it has. Eventually, it's going to cycle itself out. Eventually, the buyer and the sellers are all kind of going to get used to this 6% plus or minus. The question you're going to ask me if it goes below 6 is the market going to uptick? And the answer is yes. But
Who knows when that's going to happen?
Yeah. I think if you listen to anybody that tells you that by the end of this year, the 30-year mortgage rate is going to be at some number, go out and buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah,
because
we've seen a lot of people be wrong on this.
Well,
Trump
but it's
pressuring Powell to cut rates.
Again, we've talked about this 100,000 times. Powell doesn't
Yeah,
directly.
but there's a correlation. We understand Powell doesn't, but there's a correlation.
But there is. There's
The 10-year Treasury is going to impact the 30. We know that.
but there's an emotional
Yeah.
connection, right? And the confidence level, there may be, you may see the 10-year go down or go up. But at the moment, I mean, it's been hovering around 4.5, 4.25, something like that percent on the 10-year, which keeps the interest rates at around 7%, right? And that number drops, your 30-year mortgage is going to drop.
This question's been put in the feed. Why does Keith think Charlottesville is struggling volume-wise?
Well, one, it's cost, right? It's expensive, right? So that's your first thing. Secondly, there's just not a lot of inventory out there to buy. It's extremely expensive. And there's could be other reasons. Maybe people just don't want to be in the city. There's all kind of lifestyle questions that might be popping up. But the primary reason is expense. I'll tell you right now, year to date. Let's see what the sales price go for detached homes in the city of Charlottesville.
Are you seeing much lot acquisition, people buying dirt, buying land?
I'm not seeing a lot of that.
You're not seeing people buying lots and land to build down the road?
You're talking about in the city of Charlottesville.
I'm talking about Albemarle County or anywhere in Central Virginia.
Yeah, I can tell you there's a lot of clients that want it. Finding it is extremely difficult. I have probably a half a dozen clients that are looking for, acreage in Albemarle County that is not in an HOA, right? And it's very difficult. I just had one client showed a piece of property for a client yesterday. Wonderful piece of property, priced right, but it's got a conservation easement on it, which is great for the current seller, right?
What are you going to do with that?
You can put one house on
Right.
it, and it's like 100 acres. So, my buyer's like, yeah, no, I want to be able to do a family thing and
Compound.
type of thing. So the median sales price as of today for detached in the city of Charlottesville, let me double check this for real quick here. Blah, 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 blah.
Interstate Service Company, a home's best friend, one of the partners of the show.
There you go.
If you need any kind of work done with your house, mold remediation, Interstate Service Company, a multi-generation company. Interstate Service Company, guys, a home's best friend, someone we trust. Keeps looking at data for Charlottesville City and detached homes.
So 171 units sold year to date in the city of Charlottesville, and the average sales price is $768. So it's priced. You go into Albemarle County, it's a little bit pretty comparable in price on it. Let me just make sure I got this right here.
$768 for Charlottesville City.
Yeah, Albemarle will be probably the same.
Yeah, Albemarle's going to be right there, maybe a scotch lower.
Well, I wanna take out new construction.
Comments. Kevin Yancey, welcome to the show. Put him in the feed. We seeing Salt.
900.
So
That's
Albemarle County's
that's without new construction.
without new construction. Okay.
But that's
slightly wrong on that.
people want to be in Albemarle County. You've got 438 transactions. This is only detached units versus 171. So the volume is considerably higher. The days on market out there, in Albemarle County right now is 30 days on average, 7 on median. And I'll tell you what the city of Charlottesville
This is an interesting comment. Tell us the city of Charlottesville, then we got comments coming in on zoning. And I think this comment is on point.
23 and 7. So it's 23 8 days average, 7 days median in the city of Charlottesville.
This comment is the damage done with the new zoning ordinance and the misfiling deadline is not just to tangible housing production, but it's the perception of struggling to do things in the city that will impact the city for years to come.
I can't contradict that at all. That said, it seems to have a history of that,
Yeah.
right? I don't think this. And look, I understand probably better than most what it takes for people to sit behind the dais and be on the city council or be on the board of supervisors, right? It is a hard job. It's a hard thing to do. So I'm not passing shade on anybody, but it just seems that the city of Charlottesville constantly has something.
They can't get out of their own way.
Yeah. And it's just always something. And I was trying to explain to somebody how my thoughts on this was or is. It's kind of like that 18-year-old kid, right, that's just out of high school, that thinks they know everything but really doesn't know anything and doesn't really know where they want to be. And if you know anything, well, I know yours truly was there, right? I was 18 years old, thought I knew everything and didn't know a damn thing, right? All of a sudden, I become 22, 23, 24 after my tour in the Marine Corps and seen the world and went, oops, got an education, that all of a sudden I started to get smarter. So I think because of the size of the jurisdiction, right, we're kind of stuck at this permanent 18-year-old kid thing, right? We haven't grown. And if you take a look at jurisdictions that have larger constituents or larger residents, Richmond, so forth and so on, they have the systems in place and things just seem to happen automatically, right? When you start in these smaller jurisdictions and these smaller things, everything is personal, right? The board of supervisors or the city council, everything is personal, right? Juan Diego goes to Food Lion or whatever. It's personal, right? It's there. But when you're in these larger jurisdictions like the city of Richmond, nobody really knows who the hell their city councilor is or their elected officials are. I mean, they kind of know it, but they don't. They wouldn't know if they bumped into them in the grocery store. Here's a different story. It is very personal, very hands-on, and it sometimes makes decision-making difficult.
How about this comment? Jerry, you've been talking about the attrition and turnover at the executive level at UVA and President Ryan on the I Love CVille show. What's Keith think about that and how it applies to housing?
Well, I'm very, very unhappy to see Jim go. So I'm going to twist this around. And so I've been directly involved on the Planning District Commission, which I am now the chairperson of, for 14 years. I'm the longest standing commissioner on it, sitting commissioner on it. It's because I'm not an elected official, I'm an appointed official. Prior to Jim coming on board, there was this huge disconnect between the city and the university, or the community, in that there was no town and gown. Jim, man, took it on the chin. I don't know if everybody remembers that. When he started pushing that in the very beginning, he got a ton of pushback, particularly amongst the internal UVA community on that. Like, why should we be involved in trying to produce 1,500 affordable housing units? Is that our mission? I was in these meetings, got a ton of pushback. My biggest fear with him leaving is that's all going to go away. Yeah. We're all going to go back to our corners. Was it where I wanted the relationship between the University of Virginia and the rest of the jurisdictions before Jim resigning? No, but it was at least going in the right direction. My biggest fear is at UVA, they're all gonna clamp her all in, they're all gonna take care of themselves, right? They're gonna focus on their mission, right? And they're not gonna go ahead and work on this. Talk about the zoning thing in the school. They've got multi-million-dollar projects that are in hold. I had a great conversation with Fred Missile the other day.
Yep, running in the CVille Miller District.
Yeah.
Works for the UVA Foundation.
And is on the Planning District
Planning
Commission.
District Commission, supervisor candidate,
Excuse me, not the
Albemarle
Planning
County.
District Commission. He's on the Albemarle County Planning Commission.
Yep.
But
His
and-
opponent, we should say, is Scott Smith,
Yeah.
a Republican.
Yep. And I might need a little help from you, but Fred would love to come and sit down and have a chat with Scott live on set with you and I.
We should totally do it. I'll get Scott there. I'm sure
Yep.
we'll do it. When are we going to do that? Scott Smith and Fred Missile.
You and I will figure out the dates. And
Should do it next Friday.
I don't know if we got to figure out everybody's schedule.
That
right?
would be fantastic.
Yeah. But in any event, so yeah, this would be a great opportunity to get all this stuff out. But look, at the end of the day, my biggest fear is that everybody's going to go into their corners. And every conversation I've ever had with UVA, particularly on that, is there is a certain amount of responsibility that UVA has to take. And they were doing the best they could within their systems. But, I'm sorry to see the why and all that stuff. I'm going to leave that off the table. I am very sorry to see, because he was providing leadership that worked together with the rest of the community that I feel is going to go away. Hopefully I'm surprised, but I think it's going to go away.
Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. We'll relay them live on air on Real Talk with Keith Smith. Comments continue to come in here for Keith Smith. Good morning to all that are watching the program. How do you think that race is going to shake out, Keith?
I'm gonna reserve that decision for when they come in here and talk to us about, because we're going to talk real estate, obviously, and talk about that. I think if we look at pure numbers, it's going to be very difficult for a Republican to win if we just look at numbers.
Yeah.
Right. I think the way that's going to shake out, because I actually took a dive into the data on the Samuel Miller district as far as historically how many Republicans are there, how many Democrats there. There's a large independent category there. It's about 30% of the total vote pool. Who's able to tap into that is going to be the winner. And who is able to bring those up, because, the Democrat more than likely is going to get most of the Democrat votes. The Republican is mostly going to get that. If it stays just those two things, then the Democrat will win. But there's a large block of independents that can go either way. So who's able to do that? And I think that's what this conversation hopefully will be about. So I don't want to skew that.
Are you surprised Scott chose to run as a Republican?
For the same reason I just outlined, I wish everybody did it kind of like Nelson County does it. Everybody runs as an independent. I've been very vocal over the years that local races should be devoid of party politics. Everybody, I think, should run as independent, as an independent thing. It's going to be interesting because it's going to be a governor's race, right? So depending on how the
turnout was extremely terrible in the Jack Jewett Democratic primary.
100%. But that's been the case across the board.
Not always.
No. All the Democratic primaries in our area haven't had huge turnouts. And of course, as you know, in the state of Virginia, you can vote as Republican in the Democratic thing. You can be independent. You do not have to be a Democrat to vote. So it's open to anybody to go ahead and vote. I think it was a rather poor turnout, particularly in the city. I think the numbers were very, very low. But it is what it is. Elections matter. Contested elections really matter.
What do you think of Missile working for UVA's foundation, the UVA Foundation?
I don't see.
You don't think that's a conflict of interest?
100% not. Yeah.
Largest landowner and developer in Albemarle County.
Yeah. So
His employer.
just recuse himself. That's all. It's done all the time.
I'll ask him that when he comes on the show.
I do it all the time. I recuse myself all the time.
Maybe recusing himself from quite a bit. If it's tied to anything to the University of Virginia.
Then he's got to recuse himself. That's all. But that, on the flip side, what's the number one thing that local jurisdictions tackle? Number 1 and 2. It can flip-flop either way. It's either budget or land use. So somebody who understands land use is not probably a bad thing. I'm not endorsing, I'm not suggesting one way or the other on it, But I get this all the time, right? I remember, let me put it this way. If I wasn't involved in the real estate place, we wouldn't have the Regional Housing Partnership. We wouldn't have all these different organizations that I pushed when I've been on the Planning District Commission. And if I would have listened to people say, well, you can't run because you're a builder, developer, real estate agent, and I was like, whatever.
Lake Monticello doesn't allow realtors on the Lake Monticello board.
And you know why that is, right?
Because they didn't want them positioning themselves to sell inventory and housing in the lake.
No. So the one, it's in the covenants and restrictions. But the reason it was in the covenants and restrictions, and I know a little bit about this.
I know you do.
The reason it's in the covenants and restrictions back in 69, 70, the developer handed it over to the association in my opinion, way too soon. Right? So typically the way these work is the declarant, which is the developer, has control for a much longer period of time. They usually also have like a 5-to-1, 6-to-1 vote ratio on it. Well, they handed it over to them because of where the economy was at the time, and they wanted it off their back. Why they did that is they didn't want that specific developer and builder who owned a ton of lots to control the board. The problem with that is, and the short-sightedness on that was that they didn't leave a back door to change it in the future. Fast forwarded to 2025, right? Now, if you're in the real estate development or building business, you can't run for the board. Is that right or wrong? I think it's wrong, but so there's no back door. The only way to change it is 2/3 vote of Lake Monticello 4,500 lot owners, and you cannot get forward.
Yeah, you're never going to get that.
You can't even decide tomorrow, Saturday.
Right.
Nevertheless, go ahead.
Christopher Ketchum, watching the program,
Hey,
he absolutely agrees with what we said. Can't get out of their own way. You hit the nail on the head as it applies to the city of Charlottesville.
Yeah, I mean, if you just do a Google search, I mean, it's just constantly, there's constant, you know what the word is? Drama.
Turmoil.
Drama. There's constant drama, right? There's constant drama, and what happens with that is you end up with, one step forward, hit a little bit of drama, go 2 steps back, and it's just this weird dance to go ahead and do it. I was asked the other day if my thoughts on, this whole combining Albemarle County into Charlottesville, and I said, well, that's not going to happen in my lifetime. This absorption of the 2 jurisdictions into one jurisdiction. So, anyway, that's that. Rates are high. Affordability remains tight.
Real estate tax rate, 4-cent increase. How's that impacting your business?
In Albemarle County?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's impacting anything. You can just take a look at the sales volume. It's not. Here's the deal. If you can afford to live in Albemarle County, right? Now, I'm excited about what we're doing with the land trust. We're producing homes, that folks can actually live in Albemarle County. We've got 8 units coming up in Victorian Heights, in Albemarle County. So the people that serve us in Albemarle County, that takes care of folks in Albemarle County, can now live in it. But for the most part, they don't, right? And they have to travel in and out of the county. So, look, if you can afford a $900,000 house, you can afford a 4% tax increase. I don't mean that to be cold-heartedly. Let me try this a different way. You have a better ability to afford it than if you're at $250,000, right? So the people it impacts the most is the people who can't pay. So I don't see it impacting the market whatsoever.
Really? Wow.
No,
Not even from an affordability standpoint.
Yeah, well, it's on the affordability. The 4% tax thing has very little bit to do with the affordability crisis. It's part of the ratio, but it's not. It's the $900,000, Right. That's I didn't even do the new construction. You throw the new construction.
Throw the new. What was the new construction?
I'd have to.
New construction will make it even higher.
If I throw in new construction, it'd have to be a little bit. But you got to give me a second.
Is new construction still moving?
Well, first of all, yes.
There's very little.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and no. Right. It's not moving. And we're talking about Albemarle County, right?
Multiple people putting in the feed. They would love the 2 candidates on the show.
Yep. It's coming.
I can reach out to Scott. Sounds like you can connect with Fred.
Yep.
Viewers and listeners, we'll try to make that happen. I mean, let's cut to the chase. The election is right around the corner here in November. We'll try to make that happen in the next few weeks. And we could probably do it a couple times.
Yeah, and I'm also working on other contested races, right?
What, Fluvanna?
There's nothing in Fluvanna. Nothing
Where is there a contested race besides Missile and Smith?
Nelson.
Okay, Nelson.
There's a couple in Greene. There's a couple in Louisa. Trying to get the contested, because look, the reality of it is the ones that are not contested, it's who's sitting there right now. The board members that are sitting in Fluvanna, that's the new board. City of Charlottesville is done. So I'm going to work through that, and then start bringing these other folks in there and start trying to tie this all together between now and September. So hold on one second. Year to date.
You're giving us the new construction number?
I combined them, the two. Combining the two
In Albemarle County?
in Albemarle County, it jumps up to 943. If you take out the
943,000 is the median.
Yep. You ready for the average?
What's the average? Well, the average we can throw out, because some of the numbers are trading in Albemarle are obscenely expensive.
No, so I'm doing now new construction.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
New construction average.
What is it?
Detached only. 1.122. So if you're buying a new construction
In Albemarle County.
Albemarle County detached, you're spending 1.2, and Southwood, Glenbrook at Foothill, North Point, Ode Trail, North Point, Glenbrook, North Point, Galaxy Farm. So all of these are in subdivisions. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hang on a second. So if it's not in a subdivision, it's defined as none. But hang on a second. So out of 74 single-family detached closings year to date, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them were not in a subdivision. So these are subdivision things, and they're the number. Let me see. The number one is North Point by far. Second is the Grove at Brook Hill.
Unbelievable.
So you're at 1.12. If you want to do the median, it's 920. But
You're sitting at a dinner table with someone, they're talking about listing their home. What are you telling them? Because a lot of people, I think, are going to come on market this fall after summer vacation's over. Right
agree.
now, it's a little slow right now.
well, yes and no, right? So yes, but I'm also starting to track. I've been watching this. We've been seeing 60, 70, 80, 100 units a week come on. If you go back and take a look at what I can do this on the phone, this time last year, that was half that number, right? So we're starting to see more units. To your point, it feels like the summer doldrums have kind of kicked in.
100%.
This is why it's a great opportunity to do some political roundtables. I think you're going to see September, things start picking back up. We shall see. But, the market is very much so day to day, week to week, up and down. I'm talking about actives and pendings. There isn't, if we took a look at this for the last year or so, it was always low actives, high pendings, right? And it just stayed that way for a long time. Now you're starting to see this bouncing up and down. And I define it as a reality market. This is reality, guys. This is what the real estate market is at this point. and you've got to be laser focused. Back to how do you talk to a listing agent, a listing on it? You have to have the hard conversations. What's their goals? What's their objectives? Right? Take a look at the home. Is it in the right condition? Is it in the right location? Right? What kind of expectations does the seller have? What's their, again, goals and objectives? Look, I've got to sell this house before I buy. No, I'm done. I'm selling this house and going to whatever, Chile to live. Who knows on this stuff? That just popped in my head. I have no idea why that came from. Into Chile. I was going to say Florida, but I'm not a fan of Florida. So
You don't like Florida? Too hot for you?
yeah, I've never been a fan of Florida.
Okay.
The Keys I like. I've never been a fan of Florida. Too hot, too whatever. And if I'm going that far south, I'm going a little further south than to where I like to hang out. But so at the end of the day, that's the conversation. You need to get into people's personal, what they're trying to achieve. And then you've got to do a true assessment of where they're at. And if their house is in the right location, features, conditions, they will sell a house quickly, right? Then again, you're talking about the hard conversation. Well, I'm sorry, Keith. I really want to list a house over I'm picking a number, $50,000. That's the real question you want to ask me. $50,000 over what I think the market is. What do I do then, coach? Worst thing you can do is take an overpriced listing. It's not good for the client. It's not good for your business. All it does is set everybody up for failure. I use this line all the time. I've totally stole it from Michael Guthrie. Do I?
Disappoint you now, then disappoint you later. Yeah.
Right? And we can walk through it now. But I also come in with data, right? I said, look, in this location set up, this is the market. If we're just either at it or just literally a skosh below it, guess what we're going to do? We're going to sell the house for more than list price. But if I'm going $50,000 over, you're wasting your time, you're wasting my time. And sometimes we walk away from it. Say, thank you very much. This is not a good fit. You've got to be comfortable.
You're a pro's pro, Keith.
Well, I'd rather disappoint you now, and I'd wish you luck. I hope you can get the number you want. The data's telling me no. But if you go ahead and put a new roof on it, change out your HVAC, paint the house, sand the floors, yada, yada, yada. We can help you do this. We got the people to do it. Call ISC, come in and take care of it. We can help you facilitate that. Yeah, you know what? I think we can get you to that number. But you're here right now, and this is what the buyer wants. And generally, we're extremely lucky. Generally, anytime we sit down at that kitchen table and have it, we'll walk away with the listing. Because people want you just to be honest and direct with them. You have to be caring and care for their needs, right? But they also want you to be honest and direct. And so that's how we handle it. Same thing on the buyer side, by the way.
Keith Smith, ladies and gentlemen. What's the plan for the weekend, Keith?
I am going to do something obscenely stupid tomorrow.
Bike ride?
My 31-year-old son-in-law has convinced me to go with a biking group for I believe it's a 60-mile ride tomorrow out of Richmond. And if how the cycling world works, there's A, B, C, and D, right? So the A people, these are people that are running 20, 30 miles an hour. B is 16 to 18. C is 15 to 16 miles per hour to go down. I'm a strong C, but he's riding with a B crowd. And like an idiot, I said yes.
There you go.
And I also found out this morning I'm the only 60-something in the crew. Everything
You're
else
gonna do great.
is 40. Well, so here's the trick to this. You know me well enough to know what is the one thing I've always trying to figure out? A hack.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the hack you figured out?
Oh, you draft like crazy off of people. Right. You pull the old NASCAR thing and go, you know what, guys, I'm going to park in the back.
You're gonna draft off your son-in-law?
I'm going to draft off of whoever the hell will let me draft off of them. But there's a rule, right? There's an unwritten rule, right? You know, this is how this works. So if it's you, me, and Judah, and we're on a ride, right? I'm on the back, and you're on the point. You're breaking all the wind, and you're pulling everybody, right? So what you do is every 5 miles or so, I'll flip out in the front, right? You go in the back. Judah stays in the middle, and that's what you rotate around. Well, my old sorry fat ass is going to stay in the back and go, thanks, guys. I'll buy you coffee. How's that sound?
You're going to do great. I can't wait to hear the story
Yeah,
comes from this.
We'll find out. We'll find out. But the good news, it's a low elevation change. It's only about 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet, that kind of thing. So in 60 miles, that's not a huge elevation gain. But we'll find out. We will report in.
Next Friday.
Next
and
Friday.
we will get, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to do it next Friday, but we will get that Missile and Smith lined up. People are talking about that now. We will do that.
We're going
I think
to.
both will easily do it,
we're
especially if you said Missile said he wants to do it.
Yeah, I've had a meeting with him. He's on board.
Okay.
He's on board. I would never ever say something like
I know
this
you wouldn't.
without
Give
having
some closing thoughts to your fans.
Yeah, go out and do a 60-mile bike ride tomorrow. Let me rephrase that. Don't do a dumbass thing like I'm doing.
It's not. You're doing it for your health.
Yeah, I'm holding 195.
There you go.
I'm feeling good about it. The meds I'm taking are kicking my ass, but I'm not letting it hold me down. And as long as I can get on a bike and do it, I'm going to keep on doing it. No. Let me see. I got a little ride. It's my mom and pop's 63rd wedding anniversary this weekend, so a happy anniversary, Mom and Dad, or as I refer to them as my roommates.
They watch the show, Keith.
I know they do, yeah. My roommates. So we're going to be celebrating with the family with a little bit of 63rd wedding anniversary
I love
for
it.
them.
Keith Smith. Real Talk with Keith Smith, online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Click the partners tabs and you'll see all the partners that he has personally vetted. Yes Realty Partners, the presenting partner of the show. Yes Realty Partners, guys, is the name you can trust to get you through this game we call real estate. Yes Realty Partners. So much to cover, and I'm so excited for this Missile Smith.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
And plus, I mean, that's the biggie, right?
Yeah,
that's the biggie.
That's Albemarle County.
But I don't want to discount Louisa
Nelson
County.
Okay.
Nelson County, because it's unique. They have a couple of seats that have 3 people running for it, and it's not being talked about. Jesse's free and clear. Jesse Rutherford doesn't have any, but a couple of the other seats have either 1 or 2, and it's been going very much so under the radar. And I'm keeping an eye on the outside counties, right? I think Albemarle, though the Fred and Smith, the Missile and Smith race is important, I think these things are pretty much set, right? Some of these outside counties, this is where, particularly in land use and particularly in real estate, is where you're going to start seeing things churning a little bit or not. So I'm excited about having those conversations.
I love it. You did a great job today. Keith Smith, Judah Wickhauer behind the camera.
Coffee kicked in.
You did
Last
a good
5
job.
minutes.
I like it. I love it. Real Talk with Keith Smith, archived on realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. I Love CVille show, guys, up at 12:30 p.m. So long, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Keith, they'll tell us when the mics and cameras are off.